On behalf of Kibby Riley, Kibby is the chair of the board of Trinity, and on behalf of the board at PPAC, we welcome everybody here today for an unprecedented relationship between PPAC and Trinity for the benefit of the people of the state of Rhode Island. So we're very happy to be here for this great announcement, and I'd like to introduce, to start it off, on behalf of Kibby and myself, the Laura Harris Artistic Director of Trinity, Kurt Columbus. Kurt, come on up. Welcome.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out so early. 9:30 in the morning is not a usual time for theater people. And so it must be an important announcement, and it is. It's an exciting and important announcement. This year's production of Trinity Rep's A Christmas Carol is going to be right here at the Providence Performing Arts Center. We are so thrilled to be collaborating with our friends and neighbors here at PPAC. Now you may be asking yourselves, why is Trinity looking for another space? We are announcing today as well that we're going to be doing some renovations on our upstairs Chase Theater. And the production of Christmas Carol doesn't fit into our downstairs space, which is not big enough to hold all of the audiences that come to see A Christmas Carol every year. We wanted to remain downtown, and our friends at PPAC have been just incredible partners in helping us find a way to have A Christmas Carol make its home here at the Providence Performing Arts Center. You all know this. The story of A Christmas Carol is about community, and Scrooge finds that he can only renew himself with the help of his neighbors, and so this is a really great example of how your neighbors can help you. Theater is still recovering from the pandemic. I think everyone knows that, and it's important, more important than ever, to collaborate. So we are just thrilled that we can collaborate with PPAC. The location, the size, our long-term audience that has come to Christmas Carol every year. You all know this. There are folks who say we bring our family every year to A Christmas Carol. And so they're going to be welcomed here at this beautiful location. We also wanted to make sure that we were continuing to work with our local downtown business partners, and that there wouldn't be any kind of loss to the city of Providence during the Christmas holiday. It's a big stage. It's a really big stage. It's an exciting opportunity for us. You're going to hear a little bit from our director, Tatiana Marie Carlo, a little later. We're excited because we're going to have the opportunity to reach more audiences than we ever have with this bigger theater. And you will meet Tatiana in a few minutes, and she directed Trinity's production of La Broa this year, which was an enormous hit and brought in a bunch of new audiences. And so we're hoping that she's going to do the same thing here at PPAC. I have to take just a half second here and say thank you to my friend Lynn Singleton. Lynn is one of those people that has been a fixture here in the art scene. I arrived here about 19 years ago, and he was one of the first people to welcome me. And I can't believe the generosity, the spirit, the joy of the staff here at PPAC, and I give lots of credit to Lynn. So with that, I'll invite Lynn Singleton to come up and say a few words. Lynn.
Good morning. As most of my staff knows, 9:30 isn't prime time for me, so I'll be brief. When Kurt said fixture, Joe, I think that means we're old. We've been here a long time. Fixture. That's a new one. So, long about November, December, Katie emails me, who I know just briefly, and said, ba-ba-ba-ba, you know, we're looking for Christmas Carol, and, you know, in December, et cetera, et cetera. Now, as I used to tell my mother, she'd say, what do you do for a living? I live in the future tense. I'm always way down the road. So I say, oh, okay. So I read it, and I'm thinking, well, December of 25. She comes back with, no, December of 24. And then I learned something about Trinity as I would go back and forth with her. My genesis is out of higher education. Higher education is very consensus-oriented, and repertory theaters are very consensus-oriented. And fortunately or unfortunately, this organization is very command control. So I would ask questions. A couple days later, she'd get back. So then I thought, this is not going to go anywhere. This is silly. So I call staff together and I say, Janice, I want to put you on point. You deal with Trinity, and see if this is real, because we got to educate them on, Local 23, my lovely stagehand union, and how it works here, and ticketing, et cetera, et cetera. So Janice, Anderson, to her credit, waded through all that, and then we took the next step, and PJ and Caitlin and Nick and Sophia and her staff jumped in and started to put together the elements of public relations and selling tickets as Steffi in the box office, because the tickets will all flow through here. And then the second issue is doing it. We have a little show in the middle of December called Hamilton. So Alan and Chris and the new tech director, Zach, who started yesterday, is going to have a big fun in December because we're going to open Christmas Carol in mid-November and do a bunch of shows, and then we're going to load 20 trucks. They're going to leave. 20 trucks of Hamilton's going to come in, and then they're going to leave, and then Christmas Carol's going to come back. And so we're going to bridge Hamilton to do, I don't remember how many performances of Christmas Carol. The good news is, this is approximate, but I think in the theater downstairs in Trinity it was 500 seats, and our capacity, which we're going to sell, is about 2,200. So it'll give the opportunity for probably a lot of people, for us to reach people that haven't been to this building. And also, I was thinking last night, and I've only been here since the mid-'70s, so I'm really not a true Rhode Islander yet, which is truer than you think. But all institutions create traditions. And Rhode Island, like many states, has had many institutions that have created traditions, but they faded. And in my lifetime, my memory, Rocky Point, Ann and Hope, Benny's, the Outlets building was next door. But those institutions, there are other institutions that continue, get stronger, and continue to provide services and traditions for the city and the state. And the first one that came to my mind was the Bristol 4th of July Parade. And then the new one that's come on scene since the mid-'90s was Water Fires, and even more recently is Providence Fest. And PPAC, starting in the mid-'90s, started doing multi-week, who knew, 5-6 week shows of people like Phantom, Lion King, et cetera, and Trinity has been doing Christmas Carol for 48 years. Think about that. That's a long time. So in closing, we're thrilled to have them here. My commitment is we are going to make and I've told my staff this, we're going to make every effort to make it an enormous success. We're going to roll up our sleeves and deal with it. And this will be very good for the city, because including Hamilton and Christmas Carol, this building does not have a dark night from mid-November to New Year's Eve. So at this point, and I thank Kurt for saying her name twice, I'd like to introduce the director of Christmas Carol, Tatiana Maria Carlo.
Hello, everyone. I cannot tell you how excited we are to bring Christmas Carol here. I have, since moving from Miami, Florida, made Rhode Island home, and my little brother and I would have this tradition every Christmas. As soon as I got my driver's license, we would go to the beach every single Christmas as soon as family activities were over. And while my Christmases look a little bit different now, the thing that I remember the most was the energy on Christmas morning. I would walk around and see generations of families coming together. I would have folks wave to me, Merry Christmas. Strangers come up to me and ask me what were the last 24 hours like, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And truly, that is the energy that we are hoping to bring to Christmas Carol. I think about the first rip of a Christmas present morning, watching your family, your children, your grandchildren, and experiencing opening the Christmas presents. That is the energy that we are going to bring to Christmas Carol, and I truly hope that you will join us. And I want to bring forward a pillar in the Trinity Rep community and here in Rhode Island, the Director of Arts, Culture, and Tourism, Joe Wilson Jr. Thank you all so much.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Come on now, how y'all doing? Yes, my name is Joe Wilson Jr., and I am indeed the Director of Art, Culture, and Tourism for the great city of Providence. And on behalf of the Honorable Mayor Brett P. Smiley and my department, I come to you this morning truly bursting with pride at this extraordinary collaboration between two of the most important cultural institutions in this city, in this state, and yes, indeed, in this country. The Providence Performing Arts Center and Trinity Repertory Company over many years have both produced world-class arts programming right here in our creative capital. Both of these historic institutions have also been leaders in arts education, critical to our economic development, but more importantly, vital partners in building community and civic pride. Congrats Joe, Lynn, and Alan here at PPAC. Congrats Kibby, Kurt, and Katie at Trinity Rep on this collaboration to once again bring to our community one of the most celebrated holiday traditions around, a Christmas Carol. As many of you probably already know, I came to the city of Providence about 20 years ago, having been recruited by Trinity to join their resident acting company. In my professional practice as an actor and director, I have had the great pleasure of witnessing firsthand the power of live theater and the joy that this production has brought to so many who have come to our great theater over all these years. They have come to see a show year after year that's remained the same story, but every year serves up a new, unique perspective from which the story is told. Whether through my performances as Humbug Scrooge, or Marley, or one of the many Christmas ghosts, this story has continued to remind me and all who come to see this production of the importance of living in genuine fellowship with each other, and that even in our darkest days, and sometimes in spite of ourselves, redemption is possible, and that radical joy must remain at the center of who we are as a people. Finally, I want to speak to the importance of this collaboration in terms of the viability and sustainability of our arts and cultural sector. These two institutions that we celebrate today are at the heart of a sector and industry that, yes, industry that supports tens of thousands of jobs and provides economic impact to our great city in the billions of dollars. I'm going to say this once, and I'll say it again and again and again until we all believe it. Arts jobs are real jobs. The creative sector remains one of the most important industries in this city and this state. Many artists, arts organizations, and cultural institutions are still reeling, as Kurt has said, from the effects of COVID shutdowns. And as long as I am the director of the Department of Art, Culture, and Tourism, I will always pose this question to anybody that will listen, to our elected officials, and to our community at large. The question should never be, can we afford to support the arts? The question must always remain, can we afford not to? The soul of who we are rests in our creative sector and with our culture bearers. The arts help us be better. The arts help us do better. Together, So y'all buy your tickets, support these cultural institutions and our artists, and I look forward to seeing you all at Trinity Rep's A Christmas Carol here at the Providence Performing Arts Center. Thank you so much.
I did not intend to follow Joe, but my name is Natasha Samrani. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at Trinity Rep, and we're so happy that you guys are all here. We wanted to open it up for a few questions, if anyone has any, and we have the leaders that are putting this together, this partnership together. If you don't mind coming up to the front, feel free to raise your hand. And if we don't have any questions, we can also break for some one-on-one interviews or sound.
How tough was this to put together?
How tough was this to put together? Katie?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Katie Liberman. I'm the Executive Director at Trinity Rep. You heard from Lynn about our email back and forth about 6 months ago. I will say it could have been harder if not for our partners here at PPAC. Lynn and Alan and the team were so open and really welcoming us. I will also say it was not easy. As you heard, we've got a little show called Hamilton in the middle, and that has added some complexity. I want to acknowledge Trinity Rep staff on our production team, as well as in our ticket office and our marketing team, because we've been working really carefully in partnership with our counterparts here at PPAC to make sure this is smooth for audiences and for artists who will be in the building. But behind the scenes, it's been tricky, though I'm really proud that we're making this work and for our partners here. Thank you.
Don, you had a question.
Have you chosen a Scrooge?
We have chosen a Scrooge. We have chosen a Scrooge. I don't think we're going to make an announcement this morning because we're still finalizing some things, but we're very excited. I'll actually take your question, Don, and say, Tatiana has such a clear vision for this story. And if any of you saw her production of La Broa at Trinity Rep, she is one of the most joyful directors. She brings party to everything that she does. And so her choice of Scrooge is part of that larger vision. But we'll do a separate announcement of that in a couple of weeks. But thank you for that question. Yeah.
How important is A Christmas Carol to Trinity Rep?
Well, I'll let Katie answer that question.
No, you
well,
should.
Okay, I mean,
when you first started.
you know, so much of who we are as a theater, the vocabulary of what we do comes from A Christmas Carol. And I know, I'm actually quite certain that everyone in this room has seen A Christmas Carol. Part of the way that we tell that story every year, and Joey talked about this, we make it new every year. We provide a fresh approach to a story that people feel they've heard so many times they couldn't possibly hear it again. And yet, when you see something like the production that happened last year, that happened all around the audience, that was so joyful, you know that stories like this are foundational to who we are as people. Joe said this, and I want to reiterate it. I think a story like A Christmas Carol makes us a better community. And so, you know, how important is it to Trinity? It's really, literally at the center of our identity. Yeah, Katie, do you have anything to add?
The only other thing I'll add is that A Christmas Carol, as you heard, has been happening at Trinity Rep for decades, such that tens of thousands of Rhode Islanders come see the show every single year. That's not over the course of its time. And nearly 5,000 students come as a part of our Project Discovery School Matinee program, which we will continue here in this space this year. So we know that this story and this play is what connects folks, not just to Trinity Rep, but to the performing arts overall. It's many people's first access to live theater, and we take that responsibility really significantly, which is why, despite the construction that will be happening at Trinity Rep, we did not want to skip a season of this extraordinary play, and we're glad to be here for it.
When does that construction start, and when does that?
Now we're getting to the hard questions. Trinity Rep is, as you heard, planning construction that will include, most significantly, a brand new elevator to our building that will provide access to the top 2 stories of our historic space for the first time ever in its history. The building is 106 years old. In addition to that, we're doing a full renovation of the Chase Theater, which many folks might remember very well, where we've had Christmas Carol, but that space has not had a significant full and complete turnaround since we first installed it in the early 70s. We are in the midst of completing permitting and review, both with the city and the state. We hope to start construction as early as the fall, but we know that the Chase won't be available this winter, which is why we're here today.
As Natasha said, we're available for one-on-ones if anyone wants to grab us. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to Alan for his hospitality. He got us Christmas cookies in the middle of July. And I do want to say one other thing. Our board member, Nancy Smith-Greer, pointed this out. Today is July 25th. It's exactly 6 months to Christmas Day. So, thank you.